together, feel that rise. Watch the game while the beat flows. At the sports bar where anything goes. Laughter and joy, we're in the zone. On the swivel at the sports bar. Cheering loud, feeling like a star. Good times, laughter and every score. On the swivel, come back for more. Come back for more. Tasty treats and soulful sounds. Feel the rhythm, it's where joy's found. With every cheer we come alive. Come on in, let's thrive and jive. In this moment we find our groove. On the swivel at the sports bar. Cheering loud, feeling like a star. Good times, laughter and every score. On the swivel, come back for more. Ooh, come back for more. Ooh, come back for more. Tasty treats and soulful sounds. Feel the rhythm, it's where joy's found. Ooh, with every cheer we come alive. Come on in, let's thrive and jive. In this moment we find our groove. Ooh, on the swivel at the sports bar. Cheering loud, feeling like a star. Good times, laughter and every score. On the swivel, come back for more. Swing on by, don't miss the fun. At the sports bar, the best begun. Ooh, come back for more. 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 Come back for more.
Hey, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Hello, Catalia. How you doing? Hey, listen. Yeah, it was a good game, but you know what? The Steelers got to back that game up with a win over the Browns. I mean, you can't just, you just can't, win this game and then come back and stink up the joint next week. So that's one of my five. We're going to get to that anyway. So welcome aboard. Thanks for coming. And like as usual, I really appreciate it. Anyway, disclaimer, because you guys know I use a lot of videos and stuff, so it's fair use for what I use. Okay, so let's get into the football, right? It's kind of funny. I was going to try to put the Steelers and the Ravens down as an upset, but it really wasn't an upset. I didn't really check the betting line, but I think in some places the Steelers might have been favored because they've been beating up on the Ravens. Yeah. I don't know why people were counting my man out in the first place. Russell Wilson, he didn't lose it. The coach under Denver just hated him. It's hard to play under a coach who has no confidence in you. So I'm really not that surprised with Tomlin and him getting in. And so far, 4-0, you can't argue that. But anyway, the big upset, well, they say it's an upset of the week, was the Bills beating the Chiefs. But the Chiefs have been playing poorly. And I was telling my man last week that if the Chiefs come against the Bills playing the way they've been playing, they were going to lose. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. So I think they needed to lose anyway because the weight of trying to win and win a championship as an undefeated team is very heavy. It's very heavy. Somewhere Mercury Morris is giving himself a toast. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he's up in heaven, but I know he's toasting for the fact that they did lose. Anyway, we're going to talk about week 11, my man Stephen A's got a top 10, top 5 A list. So I'm gonna just go ahead and play this, and let's listen to crazy ass Stephen A. Say his thing. So it's not really a long clip, but I'm gonna play it anyway.
Plymouth Rock. Okay. I never wonder if I'm covered for home and auto.
More savings.
Everybody! It's awful. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. It's an interesting list. Not a great list. Shots fired.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong?
You are wrong.
You pulled your head. Blew it. It blew. It doesn't involve you from.
I was gonna cut this part out, but Stephen A is crazy.
That was an A++ grade. Yeah. You usually get in the A list on Tuesday, but I want to save this for Wednesday. Because we got Dowdy in the house back in the studios in Palo Alto last week. I don't know what the hell he's doing with us. He's paid, by the way. I didn't even he's back in the studio since he's in the house. What my man started Friday. Hey, and of course, hey, Mark, Emily, what started to do the A list today. The top 5 teams in the NFL through week 11. Come on. Let's go to the list, please. Give me number 5 right here. The Philadelphia Eagles. We've been seeing the boys.
I know it's pretty funny.
Understand they're one of the top 2 teams in the NFC right now. Defense has got better. AJ Brown is back. They Smith is back. Saquon Barkley is another candidate. Jalen Hurts is running the football effectively. Ain't really turning the ball over. Offensive line looks stout. Sirianni ain't making idiotic decisions. All of those things have led to the Philadelphia Eagles being appreciated as a top 5 team in the National Football League. Date number 4, please give it to me right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens. Didn't we see this defense led by the great TJ Watt do his thing? Have we not seen Russell Wilson go undefeated? Have we not seen them putting up? I understand they didn't score a touchdown, just 6 field goals. The Baltimore Ravens, okay? They played Baltimore. It was a division rival. They got that done. They're in first place in the NFC North, coming out of nowhere. You got to give credit and love where it's due. That's why I got them at 4. Give it to me at 3, please. The Kansas City Chiefs, you did lose. You're no longer undefeated, okay? And now we get to look at them with a more objective idea. I say their defense is big time. I got that. But they gave us 30 against Buffalo. Okay, Pat Mahomes in the offense. We've been talking about how relatively pedestrian they've been. Travis Kelce, 2 receptions. D-Hop, 3 receptions. I mean, we expected more. We ain't getting it. The top 3. They just ain't number 1 or 2 anymore. Why? Because of this one right here. The Buffalo Bills is usually first place in the AFC East, 9-2 on the season. Josh Allen, candidate for league MVP honors. Okay, Amari Cooper's up in the house. Didn't even have Keon Coleman. You look at James Cook running the football. You look at this defense. You look at McDermott. We didn't expect much from them this year. They have answered the call. They're one of the elite teams in the National Football League right now. They just ain't number 1. We all know who this is. Give it to me right here. Give it to me. Hurry, y'all. The Detroit Lions. Look, y'all. They had a 5 week last week. I say they had a 5 week because they trounced the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going against Jacksonville at this point in time. It's like having a 5 week because they're trash right now. Doug Peterson, I don't expect him to have a job. I'm shocked he still has his job as the head coach with the Jacksonville Jaguars the way that they have looked this season. With Trevor Lawrence still at the quarterback position, but nevertheless, it is what it is. The Detroit Lions are the elite team in the National Football League. We know they're number 1. We got to give love where it's due, and here it is. Detroit, Buffalo, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and the Eagles, with the Ravens on the outside looking in. Lost to the 2 last place teams this season. Lost to Kansas City. Now you lost to Pittsburgh. With Lamar Jackson 1-4 against the Steelers, they don't deserve to be top 5 at this particular moment in time. That's where I am this week with the A list.
All right, so that's cool. So that's true. I like the list. I think that was a good analysis of where we are in the season right now. All right. So listen. Okay. So the next thing is there's a little expose on the Lions and where they are. And I was going to play some of this. Now, listen. When the season first started, the Lions were you had to put that in order. They were like a plus 1,200 to win the Super Bowl. That means if you put down $100, you would win $1,200. So, so for every $100, you would get $1,200 back if you would have put that bet down before the season started. Today, you put $100 down, it's $320 back. So, hey, listen, and it seems like really that they're pretty much the favorite to at least get to the Super Bowl right now. So anybody who's a betting person out there, this is the time to go ahead and place your bet because those odds are getting lower and lower. Or is it, lower and lower, right? So at the beginning of the season, when nobody thought the Lions were going to win, it was $1,200. So if I had a ticket that I bought at the beginning of the season, I'd be pretty, stoked right now, especially if you put, $1,000 down or more, forget it. You'd be saying, oh man, you'd just be like saying, let's hurry up and get to the playoffs. Let's hurry up and get to the Super Bowl. Anyway, so the Lions, we don't have to go through all this stuff. They can just talk about how well they're playing, how well they're doing, a couple of analysis. I might just show a little bit of this, but let me just go ahead and do it. Commercial.
Plymouth Rock. I never wonder if I'm covered for home and up.
More savings, more coverage.
Lions favorites now to win the Super Bowl. Lions, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles. There are no grace periods in the National Football League. And did the Lions 100% prove it? I don't know if there's is Governor DeSantis going to come out and call them classless? What's going to happen? Florida governor? I don't know. Do they have Chris Christie on their team in Jacksonville? Classless. Get out of here. They're the class in the National Football League. That's what they are. They are the best team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. They are made 100% a reality. What the coach said when he first introduced himself as the head coach of the Lions. They're absolutely Dan Campbell's mantra, style, essence, personified. Same thing with the city. Talk to any member of the Roar Restoration Project that's been waiting for the Lions to play like this. It's exactly the way they want football to be played. Smart, stout, relentless, heartless. How many times have the Lions been curb stomped in their time? They are absolutely taking decades of curb stomping and throwing it back at the rest of the NFL. 8 straight wins in a season for the first time since 1934. That was also the last time they were 9-1 or better.
All right. So listen, one of the things about the Lions, they were actually thinking about taking them off for Thanksgiving, right? So the last 2 years, they threw that idea out of the window. And it's funny that they would even think about it because as bad as the Lions have been over the years, they never thought about taking them off for Thanksgiving. What they did say is because the Lions used to be so bad that they added a third game to the Thanksgiving day. And that might be true. But now that the Lions are playing this way, their game is going to be the featured game. I'm sure of that. All right, so we'll see. It's good to see them playing better. I was always kind of a quasi-Detroit. I'm not a fan, but I kind of like the team, especially from the old days when they had the running back. Anyway, so that's that. So if you're a Lions fan, you should be feeling good right now. All right, so here's the games to watch. Okay, yours is right up there on the top, Catalia. You know what? The Steelers and the Browns. Because not that the Browns are so good, is that we got to see if the Steelers have a letdown because the Browns will be coming at them, right? Because it's a division game. So you got to back up that win over the Ravens with another win. Okay, so it's just no way you can and it's a short week for them, by the way, because they're playing on Thursday. So if they're playing this Thursday, that's just a short week. So hopefully they're still, healthy. It usually takes a week to get, your blood flowing again. So the Browns will be waiting for them. The Eagles and the Rams, that should be a good game too. Rams are playing better. 49ers and the Packers. But the 49ers are up and down, and the Packers are could be a surprise team depending on how well the quarterback back plays. So that's a good game. The Ravens and the Chargers, kind of the same reason that they lost, and the Chargers can absolutely beat the Ravens the way they're playing. And the Chargers just had a big win, so the Ravens can't just sleep on that game. They can't sleep on that game. And then, of course, the Cardinals and the Seahawks. And the thing is that game is more important than people know. They're not two powerhouses, but I think they're stepping on each other for that playoff spot, whether it's the top of the division or for a wild card. So that's a meaningful game. So these are the 5 games coming up this week that probably all must see. I mean, depending on who your fan base is, these will probably all be good games. So, hey, football's in full swing. Shoot, that's all you can say. College football. All right, here's the AP top 10. In the top 4 teams, they haven't really changed position. They're still there. So if the playoffs started today or tomorrow, we know who's going to be in the playoffs, the CFB playoffs. Indiana has moved up. Notre Dame, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. They round out the top 10. I don't even know why they do a top 10. I mean, because really, when it's all said and done, I guess the top 10 has to do with who gets the best bowl games, because there's a million bowl games. I remember it used to be just a few. Now there's so many, it's like not even worth watching. But if you get a top tier bowl game, that's a lot of money to the school, right? That's a lot of money to the school. So, yeah, so if you finish in the top 10, you're more likely to get a nod for a top tier bowl game, whether you win a championship or not. All right, so these are the games I've just plucked out about the games I watched this week. They don't look that fascinating to me. However, this is what I took off the internet. So I guess the Tennessee-Georgia game, Georgia is kind of moving in whatever kind of crowd. Missouri, LSU, these are big names. Of course, the Colorado game, anytime they play because of, prime time, that's an issue right there. Not an issue, but I guess it's a draw. Anytime prime time and his son is playing. I saw Shador. I think he's. I don't know why I got the feeling that he's a little overrated, but hopefully he'll do well in the pros when he get there. But we'll see. He may, in fact, go number 1. National Basketball Association. They're having their issues with attendance. This is the play-in. It's hard to read that, but maybe if you can, they have the play-in, the in-season playoff tournament is ongoing, and of course these are the groups that they're in. So that's just information. So here's the top 10. They're gonna, they got some interesting plays here. So I'm gonna go through the top 10. So take a look at that. My commercial.
I never wonder if I'm covered for home and auto.
More savings.
The game's on NBA Cup action on Tuesday. We got something right there on NBA.com. At number 10, Luka's back and he's got the down, so we're showcasing this one to Quinn Grimes. Look at the pass from one end of the board to the other, and then it's just cute. Busted through to get in at number 10. Moving along to number 9, and Jason Tatum touches George Yang to the ground, and he gets this shot to go down. Jason Tatum. And that feathery touch.
Oh, that's a push. That's an offensive foul. What are you talking about?
Number 8 and Marshall. Jason free from the laws of gravity as he goes in for the stuff. Jason just doing some space in Vegas as he goes right down the lane to bring the chain at number 8 up to number 7. And LaMelo Ball sees Brandon manhandling that alley pass.
Good to see the LaMelo Ball playing.
Up to number 6, and he's lively by name and lively by game. Going reverse with a burst, Derek Lively, and just leaves his pass and looks with the touching class at number 6. Up to number 5, noted defender D'Angelo Russell with the block on John Collins. The other way
That's a joke. No, the defender, D'Angelo. That's funny.
With the block and start the fast break, and Dalton makes a shake with that jam at number 5. On to number 4, where we always get up off the floor, and that's Jason Hardy treating Trey Jamison awfully as he goes up for the stuff and gets that one in over and by Trey Jamison, number 4. At number 3, oh, don't do that, Jake. Going up on Julian Straw there, and that is nothing but broken. Watch the replay. That's clean as a whistle. Defense gets in at number 3 on the countdown. On to number 2, and Trey Man is coming through. Noah Cloudy just used as a catapult, and he gets way up for the stuff and just boots himself off Noah for the throw down before landing on the ground at number 2. But at number 1, Kelton Johnson drops Aaron Wiggins to the floor before he goes to soar and score. Gets the stuff on SGA and left with the number 1 play. But
that's a nice one. That's a good one. I like those highlights. All right, so here's the standings of the in-season tournament as it stands now. 2 games in for most teams, and I think they weaved this in throughout the regular set schedule. Those highlights were based on each game as a tournament game because you could tell by the courts are done up in a way of that signifies which one's a tournament game and which ones aren't. And so this is the tournament's ongoing, right? So you got to play each team in your division or in your group at least once, and you got to be the top dog. And then they have tiebreakers and that kind of stuff. And then they go into the playoffs. So we're just getting started. Russell Westbrook hit a new milestone of 200 triple doubles. The first player in NBA history to do that, Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. I know it, Russ. Yeah. You mentioned that before, Royce White. I mean, I guess I did know that. Yeah. So, I mean, the big 3, I don't think they started back up yet. I forgot. I don't think so. But yeah, I know he had something to do after he lost his bid. But I'm glad he's trying to be political. So I know what you're talking about here. So yeah, he's going to have a full power team in the big 3. So if there's some new news coming out that I'll be on top of it. I wonder what he's going to do next politically. I wonder if it's finished or not. He could be, might not be, but that's okay. You win some, you lose some. All right. So here, listen, this is a little discussion on the ratings for the NBA. And I think it's a pretty big problem. And I think that I'm not going to play this much of this, but I think one of the problems with the ratings in the NBA is the load management. And sometimes, when the biggest games come up, the biggest players are not on the court. These guys are really, really soft. They're hurt all the time. They're making I don't want to say they're making too much money. They're making too much money for the effort that they're putting in, because they already got the bag. So they're not as hungry as the old NBA players. It's not the athletics. It's not the skill. The old NBA players were hungry because they had to fight to stay in the league because they knew their time was limited. And so there was always, you had to perform in order to get that next big contract. For these guys, they're just, it's just too much, and with too little expectations.
I know they are telling us not to panic. I know Adam Silver and his pretend friends in the mainstream media, they are telling us there is nothing to worry about. Don't worry, there's nothing to see here. There's no reason for concern. Ratings for this season will be great. And even if ratings are in the pooper, who really cares? We have already fleeced the television networks for $76 billion. We are set for life. It's another one of those scenarios where the media is giving us a partial truth. Here on the channel, we call it the shit sandwich. In the short term, the NBA's PR team.
Yeah, this guy is pretty funny. I don't know. I don't know how I found him when he popped up in my algorithm. I guess because I look at for a lot of sports. But this guy is pretty funny.
Which is essentially the media. In the short term, they are right. We are not even a month into the regular season. There's only been a handful of nationally televised games. The ridiculous in-season tournament. Well, KC, don't you mean the NBA Cup?
Oh, I put another commercial in the middle of my
More
thing.
savings. More.
Yeah, but you're correct. They're not. You know,
That's where they need to throw this tournament idea. They need to throw it directly in the porcelain cup and flush it. I know the final few games pop decent ratings for the league, but the entire premise of this tournament is completely flawed. Adam Silver can claim all he wants that the in-season tournament was designed for the fans, but the truth is, it was designed for the players. Alice was trying to find a way to keep players motivated through the first 2 months of the regular season. I guess 30, 40, 50, in some cases, $60 million that they're being paid. I guess that wasn't enough motivation. So the league, they had to create some doofus tournament where the trophy is smaller than the miniature trophy that they give dump divers who win the WNBA finals. And they also give players on the winning team who's already making millions and millions of dollars, they give them an additional $500,000. To make matters worse.
You know what? I don't agree with him. I mean, I hear where he's coming from, but I like the in-season tournament. You know, I think that players like it, even if they're getting some incentive to play, which he's probably saying they don't need it because they get such big contracts, but that still doesn't trump human nature. You know, when you play basketball, I used to play a little bit of basketball myself, not on any big level. What motivated all players was the champions winning something, a trophy, you know, competing against somebody and winning. And so the NBA season is so long, and you know, and you got to stay up for the whole seasons just for that little taste at the end when you go to the playoffs. So it really makes sense that you have something to play for other than just going through the drudgery of the regular season to get some in-season kind of tournament. I think that's a pretty damn good idea myself. So I disagree with him on that one. The motivation of the players, you know what? Yeah, even if you make a lot of money, the more money you make, I believe the more motivation you need to find elsewhere to get your ass out of bed, to get yourself to practice, to do the things you did when you were hungry. It takes motivation. If I make a $60 million a day and I got a little headache or just a twinge of a headache, what's going to make me go do anything is when that money is guaranteed. So I don't agree with him on that one, but I like this guy.
The NBA relentlessly polishes this turd, trying to convince fans that the in-season tournament really matters. Go ask Darvin Ham if winning the in-season tournament actually matters. That is, if you can find him. Has anyone seen Darvin Ham lately? I know he was coaching the Lakers last season. I know he won the inaugural tournament, which the NBA wants me to believe is some major accomplishment. Did Darvin Ham visit Michael Jackson's doctor? Did he do some kind of skin transformation? Because the coach I see on the sidelines in Los Angeles, he looks a hell of a lot like JJ Redick. If the in-season tournament is so important, how in the hell can the coach who won the first tournament be immediately fired?
Come on, man. You know what? I hear him, but that's, you know, the in-season tournament doesn't, you know, absolve you from not doing well in the whole daggone season. Now, I don't think he should have been fired, but that, you know, and I don't know if LeBron had anything to do with firing him, but the Lakers, they're a team in flux. You know, so I don't know if Redick is going to do better, but the Lakers are not that bad just yet. I think they're around 500, but we'll look at their schedule. But you know what? Coaches get fired all the time. So he's making too big of a deal, but I see how he's trying to draw that. Somebody can say the reason why he kept his job all season was because he won that tournament. How about that?
In the short term, the media is right. There is not a reason to be concerned about the NBA's rating circling the pooper. But the ratings are just the symptom to the real problem. The real problem in this league, your trio of superstar players, they are nearing retirement. In the NBA, they don't have anyone to replace them. One of the reasons they don't have anyone to replace them is because this new generation of players, they can't stay healthy.
All right, so we're going to stop it there. And I agree with him 100%. And I've said this on this show a couple of times. To anybody, could tell you, I know you're listening, but just for the replay and everything else, I said this, I think that the NBA has to still cling on to the LeBron Jameses of the world, the KDs, the Stephen Currys, because the young guys just haven't, if they lose those guys, let's just say they lost all three of those guys in terms of retirement next year. I mean, the NBA's ratings will be like in the crapper because who's Anthony Edwards? Is the new guy, Luka? Yeah, for what it's worth, yeah. Who's the next guys? Still Chris Alexander? Are these guys real big draws outside of their local area? I'm not so sure that these guys are not national draws. Anyway, Donovan Mitchell. I mean, they're good. They're good players. Some of them might even be great. Even Jason Tatum, outside of Boston, is he really a draw? I don't know. So, yeah. The point is, that's another thing with college basketball. These guys don't stay in college basketball long enough for them to bring the college crowd to follow them in the pros either. I mean, the one and done, two and done. I'm not saying they should stay because that money is a big deal. But, that connection between college and the connection that they had between college and the pros, it's kind of severed now, right? Because really the college game used to be like the really good stomping ground or the staging ground for the pros when people used to stay 3 and 4 years. Now you can't even get to know the college players that well as college basketball players. They're gone. And then once they go into the pros, it's like a rite of passage. They're just full-fledged men. And then they get into doing men things, right? I don't even want to go down that path, but a lot of them become almost unlikable sometimes. Anyway, so what's next? What else do we have on the menu for basketball? So here's the conference standings. Cavaliers are still in front, front page. The Celtics, the Knicks are in 4th place. See if they can hold on to that. It's still early. The Warriors are doing better than I think people think. I think the Warriors are playing better than I think people want to give them credit for. I think they've retooled, and Charles Barkley says they're still too small, but they've been saying that about them for their whole dynasty. Where are the Lakers? The Lakers are in 3rd place. And the Lakers are doing well in the in-season tournament, and I think that's really because LeBron James likes trophies. He likes trophies. If he can win another one, he's going to play his butt off to win another one. I can guarantee that. That's the one guy he's not going to disappear in the in-season tournament. If he can win another MVP and put that up on his mantle, he's going to do it. So you used to like the Knicks. And I said, so you had a birthday thing to the Knicks. Well, the Knicks are playing okay, man. I'm from New York. I'm a big Knicks fan, but they've been so disappointing over the years. I just want to see them get past the first, second round one year. All right, so the ladies are out, baseball's out, hockey's been going on for a while since October 4th. So I just thought I'd start putting up the the daggone standings. I haven't been a big hockey fan in a long time. You know, when I went to high school in the Bronx, our Bronx hockey team was so good that they used to play college teams. They used to win a championship almost every year in Cardinal Hayes. They played West Point a couple times, held their own. I think they might even beat West Point once. You know, so, but I'm not a big hockey fan anymore. I guess there's only so much time in the day. But in the playoffs, if one of the teams I like might be there, I'll watch a game or two. I heard going to the hockey games are really, really exciting. I've been to a couple in New York before. Big Three, yeah, so I got to find out when they're coming back. I forgot what their season schedule is. I guess it's like a summer league, though. All right, so we're coming to the last part of the show. All right, so ESPN. Now, this is big. Inside the NBA is going to leave TNT, but they're going to go to ESPN. And that's big news. And I think that's big news because if the NBA lost these 4 guys, I think that would hurt. I think their analysis and even though they're on screen only 2 minutes at a time because of all the commercials, you know, I think having these guys talk about basketball has helped the league ratings stay where they are, you know, besides just the games.
Welcome back to the Kenny Smith Show. My last topic is good news for NBA fans worldwide. That's because the hit show Inside the NBA with Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, the one and only Shaquille O'Neal, and of course, the incomparable Ernie Johnson is no longer a casualty of the new NBA deal. This was supposed to be the last season of Inside the NBA on TNT. But thanks to a settlement between Warner Brothers Discovery and the league office, the show will continue on ESPN and ABC starting in the 2025-2026 season. For those of you who don't know, Inside the NBA has won 21 Sports Emmy Awards since it started in 1989. A lot of people have been asking me about this, wondering how I feel about it, wondering what it means for my future, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't affect me at all. I've got First Take. I got a lot of other things going on. Secondly, here's the biggest reason why it wouldn't affect me. All of them are my boys. Ernie Johnson is a phenomenal human being, a great host, a great man.
What's up?
I love him to death. Shaquille O'Neal is my brother. Kenny Smith and I go back to my days in junior high school when his brother Vincent Smith used to train me as a basketball player. And then, of course, there's the one and only Charles Barkley himself, who I also love. They're friends. And not just to me, but anybody in the NBA community. How can you not love and respect and revere these brothers? And to see that this show, still scheduled to be produced in Atlanta by the TNT folks and what have you, airing on ESPN and ABC, to know that these brothers are going to stay together and continue to do the NBA for years to come, I can't be more happier for them, because I know that it created a lot of chaos once TNT lost its deal with the NBA, courtesy of Amazon and others, of course. Major props to Commissioner Adam Silver, to President Jimmy.
Yeah, okay, we can stop it there. Hey, what's going on, Coach Ferg? How you doing, man?
Oh, what's up, Bob?
Hey, listen, man. So what do you think about the fact that these guys from inside the NBA are going to go to ESPN? Do you think that really, I think it really saved the NBA from dodging a bullet of ratings next year? What do you think?
It's hard to say because, you know, they've been doing it for a long time. They do have some antics I think could be hard to replace, you know, with those three, with Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but
is it just the antics, or I hear what you're saying. I mean, the life goes on, but you don't think they enhance the viewing and analysis of the game and the camaraderie? I mean, people like these dudes together, right?
Well, it's hard to say again because, you know, there's plenty of people that could, you know, analyze and break down, you know, players and games and, you know, players' abilities that, you know, you seeing them on YouTube now. People coming up with sports shows and, you know, they doing their little animations. these guys are staples, you know, Hall of Fame guys, you know, been doing it for a long time. So I can understand NBA wanting to hold on to him, but I don't think it really would have been
Well, the NBA didn't want to hold. They spit him out like sausage. Like,
hey, everything goes to the highest bidder, though. It was the highest bidder.
The NBA said, you know what, you know, people might love you, but we'll get over it. I mean, that's what you're saying.
No, but again, I mean, listen, these guys have a lot of money anyway. Shit, I can go commentate the NBA. Let me do inside the NBA.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, but I hear what you're saying. You're probably more right than I am. I'm being nostalgic and shit.
you know, but you know, they do have a lot of good insight. They bring different perspectives to the game. You know, they don't always agree with each other when they're, you know, live. So it's cool, you know what I'm saying? They're getting old. Everybody's in their 50s now. Hell, I mean,
man, can you imagine though? You got a 10-year contract, you're in your 50s, and they paying you $5, $6, $7, $8 million a year. Even that, you know, that's a nice little package to sit down here and just throw water at each other, man, for 15 minutes.
What they working 2 days a week?
Yeah, 2 days a week.
Shit, I'll do it.
That's true. That's some serious stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, man. But I just wanted to say I'm glad that they're coming back, even on ESPN. So that's also ABC games.
Yeah.
You know, so that's cool. So that's good. So that's good to see him around. So welcome to ESPN. All right. Did you see the fight?
I didn't really see the fight. I wasn't really interested in it though, for real. You know, Tyson's older than me, man. What I look like going out there?
Yeah.
You know, one shot to the head real good, man.
I'm not saying do you like the fight. I'm saying did you see it? Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of this. So now Andre Ward finished undefeated, but they're talking a little bit about the sideshow of the fight from my man's perspective, Paul's perspective, the fact that he's making so much money and he still hasn't fought any real contenders. You know, so I'm gonna skip over a lot of this.
More statements.
My next guest retired from boxing with an undefeated record.
Let me see where I can go.
He held world championship titles in both the super middleweight and light heavyweight divisions, but more importantly, and Jake recognized what you just mentioned, and he made a game time decision to choose Mike's well-being, the well-being of how he's going to be received from the general public and more specifically the boxing public over the cheers and everybody saying it was a great event.
So the way he's talking about here, though, Coach Ferg, was that near the end of that you could tell that Paul was holding back because he could have really hurt Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson didn't have his legs under him. And, you know, he hit him a couple of times and, you know, Tyson tried to, but you could just tell Mike Tyson's legs was not under him at all. He couldn't even get any leverage on any punches. So Paul, even before the end of the fight, the last 10 seconds, he kind of started to bow. You know, he bowed and said, you know, you could just tell that he says out of respect for Tyson. And people started, you know, automatically getting on his case or getting on people's case. How come you didn't try to knock him out? And a lot of people don't realize this. As an old boxing fan, I remember when Larry Holmes beat the shit out of Muhammad Ali. You know, and Muhammad Ali was all beat up, and Larry Holmes started crying at the end of the fight because he you know, he was saying to himself, you know, what did I do? You know, I beat up my mentor, I beat up my hero. And then, you know what, Ali, man, it's never short, even though he's going through Parkinson. He said, well, if he felt that bad about me, why did he beat me up so bad? He said if he felt that way, why did he beat my ass so bad? I thought that was a real quick comeback.
He had to choose one, and he chose right because it wouldn't be good. I personally need.
I'm sorry.
Happened to Mike Tyson in that ring, it was gonna be real hard for me to hold my composure when I got that mic to close out that event. Well, let me ask you this: when you say our generation isn't going, you know, would not have taken it lightly, he really went in there with an agenda and done harm to Mike Tyson. Be specific. What would have been the reaction had he done what we feared could have happened to Mike Tyson? Explain to the audience what that would have been like for Jake Paul.
Well, Jake was already dealing with backlash just
for the fact that he took the fight with Mike Tyson at 58 years old. You got to realize life is like myself. Individuals who've been in the game since they've been, babies. We grew up in this. This is what we do. This is what we're always going to do. We're always going to be in a fight game in some way, fashion, or form. He would have got a lot of backlash. He would have got a lot of backlash, way more than what he's getting right now. People don't like the age gap. And they say, man, that's weak. Come on, bro. You fight Mike at 58 years old. But if Mike Tyson would have got knocked out, then it would have been an outcry from the younger generation saying, bro, that's not only weak, but come see me about something.
I'm interested, and I'm glad you brought that up.
It's already happened.
No, go ahead.
Way worse than what it is now.
No question. I mean, listen, because he shouldn't have gotten in the ring with them to begin with. But
yeah, so let me tell you, man, basically, now, if I move a little bit forward, but we don't have to say any more of this. The real issue really is that I give Paul credit, he made $40 million for that fight. Tyson made 20. And I have a question about Mike Tyson coming up later on, and Ward says that he would be willing to come back and fight Paul. He said, but he's not going to beg for that fight. He's 40 years old. He said he hasn't fought in 7 years. But, since you're out there fighting old men, maybe, he could come out for a big payday. That would be a big fight. I mean, he would get money for that. I mean, it would make a lot of money for that fight. So anyway, and plus it would be no promoters involved. So that's why that fight could be made. All right, so I have some questions for you, Furry. Okay. Can you think of a person, any sports athlete that has had a better reclamation story than Mike Tyson through his professional career?
Muhammad Ali. That's the only one.
No, man.
That's the only one. Yes.
You think Muhammad Ali was down
Muhammad
as bad?
Ali. Yes. You got to look at Muhammad Ali.
No, I'm hearing you, but you're talking about the army, the jail time, and all that kind of stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and he was, he was just, think about it. He wasn't allowed to fight for 3 years.
Yeah, but okay. But here's the only difference I'll make. I hear what you're saying. That's a big arc. I'll give it to you. But he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't go through jail time, criminal activity, being a fool. He stood up for his principles, and he should have never went to jail in the first place, because on religious principles, they should have never made him go to jail, go fight.
And that's what made it worse. He didn't do anything wrong.
But they've made those exceptions for people. They were trying to make a statement. However, it's not because he did something wrong. It was that the government wronged him. Mike Tyson went through jail. He went through an allegation. He went through all kinds of stuff, wife beating, all that kind of stuff.
But again,
I mean, people usually listen. If you get a R charge on your name, the average man who gets an assault charge of a woman on their name, they don't really come back to this kind of popularity.
Well,
the reason why he had it, because nobody believed the chick in the first place. They know he was railroaded. That's my thing. Okay, I mean, it's a legitimate. You have a legitimate choice. Muhammad Ali is a good one.
I'll tell you say it all the time. Both things can be true at the same time.
Well, yeah.
So yes, Mike Tyson, again, you look at his career and his, inside the ring and outside the ring, he has some social problems that he dealt with. Once he got with Don King, everything went downhill.
That went downhill.
Everything went downhill. Customata passed. He broke away from his son.
Yeah.
He was feeling himself. He got caught up in it. He did. He went to Robin Givens. She drug it through the mud. He was spending $250,000 a year on fucking lawn care. He didn't have nobody telling him, like, man, slow that shit down. But again, he's still one of the most intriguing boxers in boxing history. I think outside of boxing, it'll be hard for anybody to get back to the top like he did.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? A regular guy working, you done for. But boxing is short. It sort of paves its own way because he got back in the ring. He wasn't quite the same, but he was still, one of the most prolific knockout artists in history.
There's no doubt about it.
You know what I'm saying? And I just hate that he even. I don't even. When they said he was gonna box, I was like, man, I'm not going to watch that shit. Mike Tyson's older than me. Our pain. If you fucking get hit in the ribs right now, you out. You in the hospital for 6 weeks,
you
6
got
months.
just walking down the steps. I know that will
Get
be
hit in the head like that, man. You get a headache shaking your head left and right. So
But you know what? But the guy took it easy on him. I think Paul, no matter what you think about him, I'll give him credit because he understood the optics. He said he understood the optics. And he punched when he could punch, but he wasn't trying to go for, he wasn't trying to knock Mike out. He just wasn't. Everybody knows that, but he threw some good punches. He hit him with some good punches. But I thought the respect that he gave Mike, especially near the end of that fight, the way he did it, I thought that was pretty classy. So he got a notch in his belt for me. Okay, I got a next one for you. And I think we already talked about the NBA crew. We talked about the damage. I think that them leaving would have been a little bit harder on the NBA. But maybe I have a better question for you. You missed this part. I had a, and I could tell you. Wait a minute. Before we go there, you can let me. Is this a question for you? Give some credit for getting in shape.
Yeah, shit, we get in shape in our 50s. What y'all talking about? We ain't out of shape.
We
get in shape. Yeah,
he's doing that for you. Could tell you. There you go.
Yeah, shoot.
He showed you his muscle.
I mean, getting in shape. Yeah, that that's all good. But again, I don't know if it would have been as big of a hype. Let's just say it was my 30. If I had a 30-year-old son and he wanted to fight Mike Tyson, I don't know if it would have got as big of a hype and the flare. You know what I'm saying? Jake Paul, yes, he's fighting guys who has really no experience in boxing. And Mike Tyson was the one, but shit, he's older than me.
No, I got you.
I would like to see him fight somebody, 35 and up.
Andre Ward says he might there, and then there's the guy who just won from the light heavyweight. But right now he's making a lot of money without fighting these guys. So he wants to, so when you're making those kind of millions, you're going to be judicious in who you put your head in front of. And I think he'll be fighting one of these guys soon. The next question I had was about we talked about NBA already. But the one guy I had up here, announcer, said that he thinks the NBA will take a big dive if the big three in the NBA leave, like LeBron, Curry, and KD. If they were out of the league, I'm thinking the league will have a suffer for a year until the new star emerges.
I don't really think so. I don't really think
so. We talked about this before.
Because they passed their prime, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they're still drawing people.
I mean, but the NBA has a lot of good young talent.
They ain't drawing nobody, man. They ain't drawing the people. They ain't putting butts in the seat like in their local area. They are.
But that's all.
You think Shea Gilchrist Alexander is going to draw a sellout crowd in Madison Square Garden or in Boston?
I mean, look at Cleveland. If you're winning, it brings people to the seats. Now losing,
that's local. That's local. You think Donovan Mitchell, if he goes to Sacramento, they're gonna be coming out to see Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, they come. If you're an all-star, that's why they changing the rules, because if you're an all-star, they expect for you to play a certain amount of games because people are coming to see you as all-stars.
I'm just saying, he's not okay. Listen, I don't disagree with you. We're not on complete opposites because people know about Donovan Mitchell. I'm saying no matter where LeBron went, no matter what city, those tickets were premium. Same thing with Steph Curry, and maybe a little less now with KD, but at least those two guys I know for a fact. And if we had to make a list of 10 players who put butts in the seats, and maybe that would be for the next. That's for the next one. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna put up a list of 10 players who puts butts in the seats. Maybe I'll go through a top 10, and we could debate that. If you come back next week, we could do that. But you got to come back earlier. Right. Number 3, Carmelo Anthony's son is going to Syracuse. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, that's a good move.
That puts Syracuse back on the map. I hope he does well. Now, his son is better than LeBron's son. His son has a higher Q score, I think, than LeBron's son did. But we'll see how he does. And the last one is Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan didn't put his hand on his heart for the national anthem. Do you think that in the age, maybe 6 months ago, ABC would have actually fired him with the woke culture before the, pre-Trump?
Pre-election, probably.
Yeah.
would.
Maybe give it another 6 months back, because the woke just started to die in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But if it
Pre-election.
was, but pre-election, anytime pre-election, he might have got fired.
Yeah, they might have let him go. But here's the thing, though.
I'm so happy if for nothing else, two things, and I don't want to get political, that Trump did automatically without doing nothing. One, he almost killed all this woke culture bullshit. People are freely talking about how they feel about the transgenders. And three, women are finding their virtue again with the 4B movement. We ain't giving it up no more. Okay, thank you. Anyway, so that's funny. So that's my, let me see, that's my last chart, I believe. Oh, except this one. Jaron Ennis won his fight by a 6-round stoppage. I mean, the guy couldn't answer the bell for the 6th round. Mike Tyson lost. But that Davis fight's coming up in December. That should be good to see Davis fight again.
That's a good fight.
Yeah, it should be a good fight. And then a rematch with Tyson Fury. I don't know how that fight's going to be, because I don't think Tyson Fury, just like Anthony Joshua, those English guys, they made so much money. I don't think they really want to fight. They want the payday, but I don't really think they get up to do their best in these fights. I know Anthony Joshua doesn't. He's like this big muscular dude, and he has better skills, but he gets knocked around the ring all the time. What's the matter with you, brother? Get out, man. Do something. Don't punch.
A good left hook can knock anybody down.
Well, that's true. But ain't no reason for a guy like him to have lost to the big roly-poly Spanish dude. I forgot his name.
Tyson Fury's body is
not Tyson Fury, but Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, a lot of dudes, man.
When he lost to that guy with the barrel body, man, he went to the guy beat his ass after he got knocked down. He got up and he whipped him for the rest of the fight.
As a boxer, I would say even in sports, Muhammad Ali, he was from where I grew up, right? So he would always come and to the community centers and just give speeches. When I first learned how to box, it was under a guy who first trained Muhammad Ali. His name was Fred Stoner, right?
Okay.
So he used to take all of us in the community. I think I was about 8 or 9. And the way he would train us is we would do our training, our running, push-ups, sit-ups, and all that. And at the end of the night, everybody the same height would go in the ring together. So in the ring, it was just a circle of guys.
Regardless of weight. So it was regardless of weight, same height.
Yeah. And Muhammad Ali, one of the things that he said that always stuck out to me was that during his time of training before fights, and I think this is where a lot of people are undisciplined, he said he wouldn't have sex for about 8 to 10 weeks. Prior to fights, so he'd be at his maximum strength, and you can see how it played out because he make babies after the fights. But he said, and I don't think a lot of trainers are just that disciplined. A lot of boxers, because it takes a lot to refrain because you have women coming at you.
Well, let me ask you this: we know the basketball athletes have no such restrictions.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
no
restraints. Maybe that's why they're getting hurt, man. The limbs are all messed up, man. Your ligaments are all stretched out, man. Listen, at some point, you gotta keep it in and let. But you know what? There's no sense in talking about it. People are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's just part of the training. I even found it when I was playing football, like, during high school and little college, if I refrained myself during the week, I played better. But if Wednesday came around, it's My little girlfriend came through and it was on then.
Hey, man, maybe because it gave you something to look forward to. Let me get this game out of the way so I can get busy.
Something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Let me get the game out of the way.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's something some people would dispute that it makes any difference in the world.
No,
But I
it
think
doesn't.
too many athletes say the opposite. Too many athletes say the opposite for some expert to come in and say it really doesn't make a difference.
Of course they would say it's opposite because they out there doing it. Of course.
No, I'm saying too many athletes agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
It makes a difference. You know. So anyhow, listen, man, that was my last chart. Of course, fair use. I need to remember to put my links into my description, but I'll do that. Other than that, say thanks for stopping. You got the other show coming up, right?
Yeah, it's about ready to start. But yeah, man, it's always my last thing real quick. Reason why I've been late, I'm finishing up my closet. I just made me a bench so I can sit down in my walk-in closet.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was staining it. I was putting the stain on it. I sanded it and stained it, man. So it's looking really nice. I'm just taking my time.
So I mean, okay, how you doing? How did you do what you're doing with the ventilation with the putting that stuff on there? You got like a fan blowing it out? What are you doing?
What with the stain?
The staining, yeah.
Oh, I was in my garage, man. Just in my garage with a little mask with the garage open and
okay. Oh, so you're in the garage and you're gonna move it up.
Use a little cheesecloth, and I had a can of stain that I had about 8 years and just small enough for my bench. It's like 4 feet long. It's 2 by 6s wide. Yeah, it's nice, man. I'm excited about it. I'm ready to put it. I'm gonna put some lacquer on it.
It's all bougie. I got my bench for my walk-in closet.
Yeah, man. It's a nice size closet, man. It's like 9 feet by 10 feet. I built it myself, so I'm cool.
That's nice. My wife has we had one walk-in closet when I bought this house. I didn't need that much space.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a debate.
Yeah, my wife
who was going to get that closet.
She took mine too, so I just down to the basement.
I mean, it's funny. It wasn't even a debate. It wasn't like maybe I'll take the dog. She just
I don't have a pair of shoes in my walk-in closet.
Man, it's just funny, man. But that's it, man. It's what we do for love, man.
Yes,
anyway,
sir.
brother, I appreciate you coming up. And any other final thoughts?
Nah, man, great show, man.
Any final thoughts, Catellia? She's a constant help me out, man. Keep me company here. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I wish she'd come up one day, man.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, you don't have to come on camera, Catellia. You come up and spark up.
Talk about your Steeler Nation.
Yeah, talk about Steeler. But you don't want us to hear that nice Spanish Latin accent she got.
Well, all right, brother.
Yeah. All right, brother. Hey, thank you everybody for coming up. I appreciate it. Later. I might pop in over there. Who knows? I got another show with Precious this afternoon. Later on. So all right. Thanks a lot, Catellia, for stopping in. Here's the outro, and here we go.
Grab your friends, it's time to play. Join the fun, we're here all day. Watch the game with drinks in hand. On the swivel, let's take a stand. On the edge of our seats, we live for the thrill. In this moment together, we're feeling the chill. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the flicker of the screens where our spirits ignite, let's cherish this time as we fade into light. Tasty bites and big screen thrills. Every moment gives you chills. High fives and cheers, it's quite a sight. Join the crowd, it feels so right. As the game goes on, our hearts beat as one. Memories in the making, oh, this night's just begun. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the light. So good night, my friends, till we meet again in this world of the game, through thick and through thin.